in the middle of testimony by Cindy Almlin. She was answering some questions, so we'll just pick up right where we left off yesterday. So, Ms. Almlin, if you would come back up, please, and just see if there's any questions left to be asked or any last-minute comments you would like to make regarding yesterday's testimony. We'll just proceed on.
Great. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll just reiterate that this bill is about protecting and advancing the freedom of speech and the freedom of association for teachers to make choices, for associations, for liability insurance and legal services that best fit their needs and their budget. It's about fairness and teacher choice, having a level playing field. What we currently have is a situation where there's a number of tactics that are unethical and unfair that interfere with the business relationships of teachers to make decisions in their best interest. We find that the teachers union is not living up to its own motto of democracy and diversity of opinion. And so we ask that you just support this bill. What it does, it takes the onus off of school districts who are under threat of intimidation tactics for allowing open and free information to teachers, information from associations that are not from the teachers union, so that teachers can just make up their own mind. It doesn't support or endorse any organization. It just makes sure that they know that there are organizations that exist for their needs. And I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Almlin. In committee, I'd like to also let the committee know that there is a motion on the table. There was a motion made by Representative Thane yesterday during the beginning of this bill hearing. So that's out there just to remind the committee. Representative Chu.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Almlin, those are statements that are very bold. So with my background in terms of evidence base, if you could cite cases for me so that I understand what you mean in terms of tactics that are unethical and unfair.
Sure, I'd be happy to. In your packet of written testimony that you were provided, you'll see that there was a letter written by IEA attorney John Rummel that IEA local leaders were given to give to superintendents who might be thinking of allowing Northwest professional educators or other associations that provide these services to disallow them to be present at district events or to provide information in teacher mailboxes. And you'll see in that packet, it's this page, it's very light writing, but you'll notice at the top that in Meridian School District, one of the teachers there for 2 years in a row had been granted permission to have an informational table at the new teacher orientation, just like the IEA was allowed, just to provide information about membership benefits. And the second year Sandy was doing that, the local union leader gave the superintendent this letter that's copied here, which is not signed. It's just printed off a website, basically. And while Sandy was at the new teacher orientation, then Dr. Clark sent staff down, forced Sandy to tear down her table, remove her materials, and leave the premises. It was very humiliating. She was in the middle of talking to a lot of teachers, and she felt like not only a second-class citizen, but like she was somehow endangering public education. In another case, in Emmett, we were given permission to have a table at the benefit fair where a lot of different companies, insurance companies and educational organizations, textbook organizations, things like that are allowed to come and express how they can help educators. We were at that for the second year in a row, and when the superintendent received a threat, I do not know if it was this letter exactly, but we were in the middle of talking to teachers, and we were forced by staff to take down our table, remove our materials, and leave the premises. Had to walk in front of the union table, and it was very humiliating. And again, it was unfortunate. I consider that an unethical practice because if you look at this letter, if you've read it, it accuses Northwest Professional Educators of being a rival teacher union, which we are not. We are a 501c6 professional trade association. Our bylaws prohibit us from doing collective bargaining and negotiations. This letter is completely based on a false premise. So that was used to get us out of the building. We've had other cases where teachers have put our flyers up Again, in the Meridian School District, our member was asked to make a bulletin board with information about our scholarships and grants and other benefits we provide. The district, because of threats, would not allow him to have a bulletin board with information about our services, whereas the IEA bulletin board in the staff room had anti-NWPE propaganda posted on the bulletin board. And if you turn the page in your packet, you can see one of those propaganda pieces, which is this, that was developed by the union in concert with the Washington Education Association, and claiming that Northwest Professional Educators is a threat to the public education. We're detrimental to public education, and again, it's just we're just not a union. We're a professional association, and we want to give teachers who find us a good fit the opportunity for liability insurance and legal services who it fits their budget and it fits their values and beliefs. So we just want to be able to inform educators that they have options. That's all this is about.
Representative Cronin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Omlin, when did you start to lobby the legislature for these statutory changes?
When did I start to lobby them?
Yes.
Well, last year I visited with the state about rectifying this problem. I've been communicating about this problem we've been having for a long time. I've been going to school board meetings. I've been talking to superintendents for years, ever since these problems have been happening. But last year was the first opportunity there was to actually see legislation that we could support on this regards. One of the ways I tried initially was going to superintendents and school board meetings, asking them to at least pass a resolution supporting equal access. But even in that case, the school board members were afraid to take a stand for equal access because they were afraid of the repercussions that might occur if they provided that equal access.
So, Mr. Chairman, one of the reasons I asked this question is because I asked the question at least once, maybe twice in committee last year when I was completely perplexed and baffled as to why a piece of legislation like this was part of Students Come First when it really had nothing to do with students. We were talking about professional liability insurance. But it appears that Ms. Omlin, you were lobbying for this since last year, and that you had a hand then in shaping the Students Come First legislation, the original Students Come First piece. Is that true?
I had input on this information regarding liability insurance, but nothing else.
Let me ask another question, Mr. Chairman.
Follow up? Sure, go ahead.
Ms. Omlin, how many members do you have in Idaho?
You know, I don't have my database open, but we have 1,100 members overall. We serve members in Washington, Idaho, and Oregon. I would say probably about 2/3 of our members are in Idaho.
Follow up,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Do you think teachers join an association because of the liability insurance product that association offers?
For many teachers, that's the primary reason, is they want to feel protected, that they have independent, conflict-free legal advice and representation when it comes to protecting their interest regarding their employment.
One final question, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, please.
Ms. Omlin, why, like any other entity, organization, company in 2012, don't you market on the internet? Why don't you find your so-called base, your customers there, like anyone else would need to do? Why do you insist that you need to be present in the schools?
We are on the internet. We have a website, we have a blog, we have a Facebook page, we have a Twitter account. We have all those things. The primary place where teachers get information is in their school district. So that is the logical place. They are used to their school districts providing them with information about their insurance options at the beginning of every school year, and this is just a matter of course. This is nothing new or out of the ordinary. This fits with what teachers are used to and what districts are used to providing.
Mr. Chairman, one more?
Sure, one more.
Thank you. Ms. Omlin, so you don't think that teachers who might be looking for an alternative might actually just look somewhere else? They don't actually go beyond what's provided right in front of them?